Let's go Dolphins! Mike McDaniel's team is making headlines in the NFL. We're approaching free agency, and I have something important to share with you. I'll tell you everything in a moment, but before I go any further, make sure you've hit the like button if you believe we'll make it to the playoffs next season. Man, I believe in it with all my heart, but we need to fix the mistakes and work hard. If possible, comment like this: Go Dolphins! Let's make the playoffs! Now let me tell you what's been going on behind the scenes. It's the future of safety Javon Holland. Fans have been speculating for months about whether Holland would stay with the team, but now we have our answer. The Dolphins will not be placing the franchise tag on him, meaning he's set to officially become a free agent on March 10th. This decision comes as no surprise, since head coach Mike McDaniel made it clear during the NFL Combine that Holland has earned the right to test his market. But what does this mean for Miami? And what kind of contract could Holland command on the open market? Reports suggest a wide range of potential deals for Holland. According to Pro Football Focus, he could be looking at a contract worth around $19.5 million per season, while Spotrac projects a more modest $15.1 million per year. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler put his expected deal somewhere in the middle, around $17 million per year, similar to the 4-year, $68 million contract Xavier McKinney secured in 2023. The uncertainty surrounding his market value raises an important question. Should the Dolphins reconsider bringing him back if the price tag is closer to $15 million per year? It's no secret that Miami is facing a tight salary cap situation. The team has multiple roster holes to address, including offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, and cornerback. With so many priorities, it's hard to justify a massive contract for a safety, even one as talented as Holland. While he was a standout early in his career, his production has declined over the last 2 seasons. Combine that with some reported locker room concerns and the Dolphins' apparent unwillingness to negotiate a new deal, and the writing seems to be on the wall, Holland is playing elsewhere in 2024. That said, his departure creates a massive void in Miami's secondary. The team is also losing veteran Jordan Poyer, meaning both starting safety spots are now open. So, what's the plan for replacing Holland? The Dolphins will likely take a 2-pronged approach, signing a mid-tier free agent and drafting a safety within the first 3 rounds of the 2024 NFL Draft. One of the top free agent targets being discussed is Julian Blackmon from the Indianapolis Colts, a ball-hawking safety who excels in coverage. While there are concerns about his tackling ability, he could be a solid replacement at a more team-friendly price, potentially around $7 to $8 million per season. On the draft front, names like Malaki Starks and Jaden Barron have surfaced as potential first-round targets. Starks, in particular, is an elite athlete with the versatility to play both safety spots, making him an intriguing option if Miami opts to invest early in the position. The Dolphins have multiple picks in the first 3 rounds, giving them flexibility to address safety while still adding much-needed depth on the offensive and defensive lines. But while fans debate how to replace Holland, other teams are already circling. The Carolina Panthers have emerged as a top suitor, continuing a trend from last offseason when they signed Robert Hunt away from Miami with a record-setting $100 million contract for a guard. The Panthers are actively looking to upgrade their secondary and could make an aggressive push for Holland. Other teams in the mix include the Jacksonville Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders, and New York Giants, all of whom have the cap space and a need at safety. One interesting possibility? The Minnesota Vikings. Defensive coordinator Brian Flores drafted Holland in 2021 and got the best season of his career out of him. If the Vikings lose Cameron Bynum in free agency, don't be surprised if Flores pushes for a reunion. At the end of the day, Miami's decision to let Holland walk isn't necessarily about his talent, it's about team-building philosophy. The Dolphins are choosing to allocate resources to premium positions, such as the offensive and defensive lines, rather than investing heavily in a safety. It's a move that makes sense given their current roster construction, but it does come with risks. If Miami doesn't nail its replacements, the secondary could take a serious step back in 2024. So now, we turn it over to you, Dolphins fans. Would you bring Javon Holland back if the price is closer to $15 million per season? Or do you agree with the team's decision to prioritize other areas? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's get the debate going. With Javon Holland's departure from the Miami Dolphins looking all but certain, the conversation now shifts to what's next. If Miami isn't investing in a top-tier safety, how exactly will they fill the void in the secondary? It's a critical question, and the answer will play a major role in shaping the Dolphins' defense for the 2024 season. As mentioned earlier, a name that continues to pop up is Julian Blackmon from the Indianapolis Colts. Blackmon is an intriguing option because he fits Miami's apparent preference for a cheaper, yet productive, free agent signing. His ability to make plays in coverage stands out, He posted a QB rating of 92 when targeted last season and has a knack for creating turnovers. While tackling has been an issue at times, his skill set could make him a solid replacement for Holland if Miami prioritizes coverage ability over physicality and run support. The potential contract? Something in the range of 3 years, $22 to $23 million, a far cry from the $17 to $19 million Holland is expected to command. But free agency is only half the equation. The NFL draft will be just as crucial, if not more so, in reshaping Miami's safety unit. With multiple positions of need, the Dolphins will have to be strategic about when they address safety. The most ideal scenario? Drafting a top-tier safety prospect like Malaki Starks or Jaden Barron in the first round. Starks, a dynamic defender out of Georgia, has the range and instincts to develop into an elite playmaker at the next level. Barron, meanwhile, brings a hard-hitting mentality that could pair well with Blackman in the secondary. If Miami decides to wait until day 2, Xavier Watts from Notre Dame is another name to watch. A ball-hawking safety with a high football IQ, Watts could be a great fit in Vic Fangio's defensive system should the Dolphins choose to go in that direction. The key here is balancing value. Miami can't afford to spend all of its early picks on the secondary when the offensive and defensive lines remain high-priority areas. That's why a combination of a mid-level free agent and a day 2 draft pick might be the most likely approach. But let's step back for a moment. Are the Dolphins making the right call by letting Holland walk? Some fans might argue that $15 million per season isn't an outrageous price tag for a starting caliber safety, especially one who was once viewed as a cornerstone of the defense. But Miami's front office has clearly set its sights on bolstering the trenches. The offensive line was a glaring weakness last season, and injuries exposed the lack of depth. If the Dolphins want to truly compete in the AFC, they need a more reliable unit protecting Tua Tagovailoa and opening running lanes for the explosive ground game. That's why names like Laken Tomlinson and Connor Williams are surfacing as potential free agent targets. Miami has to rebuild the interior of its offensive line, and that takes both cap space and draft capital. It's the same situation on the defensive line, where Miami could be looking to add reinforcements to complement Christian Wilkins and Jaylon Phillips. So when you put it all together, it becomes clear why the Dolphins aren't prioritizing safety. In today's NFL, building through the offensive and defensive lines is often the key to sustained success. While Holland is undoubtedly a talented player, his departure is simply a byproduct of Miami's broader team-building strategy. But let's not forget, this isn't just a one-way decision. Holland will have plenty of suitors in free agency, and the Carolina Panthers continue to be the most aggressive. After prying away Robert Hunt from Miami last season, they appear to be targeting another former Dolphin to bolster their defense. For Dolphins fans, this is a bittersweet moment. On one hand, Holland's departure signals the end of an era for a player who showed immense promise early in his career. On the other, it reinforces Miami's commitment to fixing the foundational issues that held them back in recent seasons. The big question now? Will Miami's plan work? If they land a quality free agent safety, nail their draft picks, and successfully revamp their offensive and defensive lines, this could prove to be the right decision. But if the secondary takes a major step back and the replacements don't pan out, fans may look back and wonder if letting Holland go was a mistake. So, once again, we turn it over to you. Do you think Miami is making the right move by letting Javon Holland walk? Or should they find a way to bring him back? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep the conversation going.